Time Sync is the weekly podcast to let you know what's worth sinking your time into. Head to timesyncpod.com for more information like our rating scale, show notes, social media, videos, and more. Welcome to Time Sync, the weekly podcast where we ask if it's worth your time from TV, movies, video games, and more. We rate content not on its quality, but if it's worth sinking your limited free time into on a scale of 1 to 5. I'm your host and pop culture super junkie Sauce, and this week I am joined by the mayor of Easttown himself, Mr. Hummer.
Oh, whoa. I don't live in Pennsylvania anymore.
And Brad.
Somebody was talking about how they made fun of the accents on SNL, and that's all they could hear for Mayor of Easttown now, and I'm the same way. All I hear is them making fun of the accent.
Yeah, I hear it too. It's pretty great.
Are you guys drinking any water? Do you guys need any water?
They murder my dirter.
Murder my dirter.
That's how Hummer talks, so I guess I'm used to it, so.
I've only said water twice in my life without actually thinking about it. It'll probably never happen again.
Are you a native Pennsylvanian?
No, I'm a native Cincinnatian.
Ah, that explains it.
I say George Washington.
And question. That's a new one that I heard that I love saying. Anyway, we got a great episode for you this week. This week, we're going to talk about Doom Eternal, The Ancient Gods, Part 1 and Part 2, Army of Darkness, The Friends Reunion, and I found a perfect article which sums up the essence of this show. Movies with terrible Rotten Tomato scores that are actually awesome. So stick around, we got a great episode for you. I just want to jump right into this because I found this article on looper.com, and I think it is literally the essence of our show. So I just wanted to run through this list of movies real quick and get your hot takes on them.
Go.
Underworld.
Excellent.
First Underworld. None of the other ones.
Only 1 equals 4.
I've never seen it.
All right, moving on.
Jesus Christ. There was supposed to be a thing. We're supposed to get through this quick. That's why I'm yelling loudly into this microphone. And you slowed down the entire process.
Classic Hummer.
Back at it. Go.
Also,
get it.
that's also the essence of the show.
Yes.
Chronicles of Riddick.
No, because that movie's bad. But the first movie that they did with that character Riddick, which is like, what's it called? Something Dark or whatever?
Pitch Black.
Pitch Black. That movie's great. Yeah, that movie's awesome. Chronicles of Riddick, I heard the book's good.
Hummer?
Yeah, bad.
Damn. Okay. Kung Pao, Enter the Fist.
Hilarious, but bad. Bad for the right reasons.
I got some stuff I guess I just need to go watch.
All right, here you go. Godzilla, King of Monsters.
Terrible.
Garbage.
Oh.
Good fight scenes, though.
Yeah, okay. Here's one for you. Con Air.
Con Air's amazing.
Dave
Thank
Chappelle
you.
is awesome. Most underrated character in that movie. Because he dies.
Spoiler. All right, Wet Hot American Summer.
Ooh,
10 out of 10. That movie's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
One
I'm
of
with
the
you
best
there.
lines is a throwaway line, and he just says, "Oh, fuck my cock." And it's great.
And so is the Netflix reunion TV show about it, too. That's also worth watching. 100%.
Very much so.
Hocus Pocus.
Oh, fantastic.
Amazing. Best Halloween movie on the market.
11 out of 10 for when it's Halloween.
Invest heavily.
I was really interested in what I was worried what you were going to say, Brad. I could see you being negative about it.
Out of season. Don't watch it.
What's the what's the excitement level for Hocus Pocus 2?
Low.
Very little.
Here we go.
Next.
Here's one. Warcraft.
Get out of here right now. Close the door.
The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
That is an awful movie. They should have never made another one after that. It should have ended at 2.
They could have made them
Why
after
are we
that, but that one
going
was
to
just
9?
stupid.
It is insanity. They raced cars at one point. How do they keep that movie franchise going?
Yeah, I've still never seen any of them, and I'm probably going to keep it that way.
No, I mean the franchise itself is okay. Tokyo Drift is just almost out of place in the whole thing.
1 or 2 are so good.
And then Tokyo Drift is just crap.
Yeah, real bad.
I'll just always remember this movie, and I would use from the trailer, I would use this line as like my description of a bad movie, because in the movie it's called Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, and in the trailer it's just Vin Diesel going, "It's called drifting." I assume that the climax of the movie is solved by them using drifting. So anytime
you're right, but Vin Diesel isn't even in the movie.
Oh shit, somebody says it's called drifting. I know me and my friends, anytime like a bad movie trailer would come out or anything, we would just go, "It's called drifting."
You know, that might have been a Lil Bow Wow line now that I think about it.
And I went to rewatch it. Just the trailer. Next one, Drop Dead Fred. Have you guys ever seen this one?
Yeah, it's not very good. It's not a great movie. Really good like idea, but not really well done.
I saw this movie so much as a kid. Like, I don't know, it was always on TV or something. My sister had it on VHS. I've seen this movie so much. I still wouldn't recommend it either.
I was going to say, you couldn't tell me a single thing that happens in it, can you?
There's like a... No, there's a mud pie at some point. It explodes, I think. Something like that.
What was your score on Fern Gully?
Oh, we'll get to that. How about Legend? The movie Legend.
Just
like
Legend?
I Am Legend?
Yep.
Where are you pulling these out of?
This is all from the article. This is the list of movies.
The I Am Legend with Will Smith?
No, it's called Legend. It's a Ridley Scott movie starring a fresh-faced Tom Cruise.
I don't think
and Tim Curry.
No, I don't think I know that one.
It's kind of like it's like Labyrinth of the Dark Crystal style movie.
Well, I like both those movies for different reasons.
I'm actually on Rotten Tomatoes, and I tried searching just Legend, and it doesn't even pop up. It's not even the first, like...
Here's a picture of Tim Curry as the devil.
Yeah,
I assume
Legendary pops up first.
All right, here's a banger. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The first one.
What a dope movie.
Yeah, we don't even need to talk about how amazing that is. Boondock Saints.
Did you just say
One
the
of the
Boondock
most
Saints?
overrated movies, but still pretty good.
Still a good movie.
Such a great movie.
But so overrated. Like, it's like when people are like, "What, Scarface?" Oh, like Scarface really a good movie. It's like it's like a goodish movie.
Boondock Saints is like John Wick before John Wick. Just I'm so angry I'm going to go murder everybody.
I mean, I don't agree with that, but okay. This is actually a really, really long list. I'm just going to start rattling them off.
We've lost a lot of momentum. I thought we were going to bang these out.
Never seen it.
Belly, I don't know what that is. Grandma's Boy is actually an amazing movie, and everyone should go watch that.
You know,
hilarious movie.
It was hilarious, but as I'm getting older, I don't think the humor stays as much, especially because
comedies don't age well.
That one just in particular just doesn't
generally
age well.
I'm gonna guess in 10 more years, Step Brothers won't get a lot of laughs.
Oh God, I don't want to think about that. Bad Boys 2.
Great movie. Great. Better than Bad Boys 1.
That's a bold claim.
Final Destination.
Terrible movie.
Yeah, terrible. I didn't like it.
Empire Records.
Great movie.
Saw.
First one? Amazing.
The first one was excellent.
What the fuck is this? Ravenous.
Don't know it.
Who is this? Anyway. And last one on here is Fallen.
I don't know that one either.
With your boy Denzel.
Nope.
I don't remember it, so...
You know, now anytime I watch a movie, What did I just watch the other
You're
day?
thinking, what Marvel player could they play?
No, it's what Marvel character have they been, or like how are these people connected in the Marvel universe?
Sooner or later, all the A-listers will have found their way into Marvel.
Oh, it was Mayor of Easttown, because it has what's his name, Evan Peters, who's
Right.
Quicksilver in one of the universes, and it has
And Mr.
somebody
Boner
else.
in the other.
Yeah, that's true. Ralph Boner. Oh shoot, who else? Oh,
Mr. Boner.
the daughter plays Betty Brant in the Spider-Man movies. So it's like anytime I watch anything, I'm like, someone in this movie's been in a Marvel movie. I don't know. I think it's just weird to think about.
Everybody wants in. It's too much money to be made. Money.
For sure. All right, so thanks for playing. Wanted to get your hot takes on the list of movies that low scores that are awesome. I thought that would be perfect. Hummer
A lot of
ruined
them
it.
that were just like, there was kind of a weird list. It was like, there was some pretty obscure movies in there.
I don't think they're obscure. I just think we haven't seen a couple of them. Like Legend. I've never seen Legend.
I think there was like 5 that I haven't seen in that list.
I wanted to tell you guys about, and this is going back to, I think, our very first episode. We talked about Doom Eternal. So Doom Eternal has a special place in my heart because it was one of the first 5s that we gave out along with Tiger King in our first episode. So the game's been out a year. The DLC has been out a little bit. Has been around a little bit. The first DLC that came out has been around, I don't know, a couple months now. And the second wave of the DLC has come out recently. It is continuing the story from the first game. And if you haven't listened to the review on that and why it's a 5, Doom Eternal is such a good video game. It is the complete opposite of Resident Evil, where the whole time, you're underpowered and you're like, have no ammo and you're like just trying to get through. This is like a 100% power fantasy. You have, after the end of the first game, every gun, every power up. You can take on waves and waves and the entire armies of hell. And it's frantic and you'll have anxiety, but not like scared anxiety, just like frenetic energy. It's very intense, and they just throw more and more and more of that at you. So the first DLC, way harder than the base game, because now they're like, well, you've faced every different type of enemy and different types of scenarios, so we're just going to throw all of them at you at once, constantly. And you cannot stop moving. You have to always be killing, ABK, always be killing, so that you can stay alive and get health. After I was in one really intense battle, I just remember sitting back and going, whew. It literally took it out of me. But it's so fun. From the video game gunplay standpoint, it's hard to find something better, like a gameplay loop where you're constantly killing, puzzle solving to get to the next area, fighting, trying to stay alive, but knowing that you can do it. Even if you die, it's not because the game is being, I don't know, overly difficult. It's just, it's throwing so much at you, but you can get through it. You just have to, be on top of your game. It is very fun. And not only that, not only the gameplay is excellent, but the story is satisfying too. I really love the story of the Doom games because they go and try to tie everything together. They give the Doomslayer a really cool backstory, some cool lore, and they just continue it in the first DLC and then in the second DLC, which actually does have a conclusion. So it leaves the door open for more games, but even if it doesn't have any more Doom games, you have a satisfying conclusion to the entire series, which is really, really hard to do with a game like this, because really the game is just about killing demons, right? But they do it so well, and every part of it is fantastic. If you liked Doom Eternal, you're going to love the DLC. You don't need to brush up because a lot of times when DLC comes out, you might have to go back and play the main game again to get back into the groove. You can get back into the groove pretty quickly. It will like ramp you up. It'll hold your hand like a little bit to get you back into it. It'll also introduce new powers, new enemies. It is almost like a puzzle during fights because each enemy has specific weaknesses that you have to switch to the right weapon on the fly out of your 8 different guns, and each gun has a different version. Like the shotgun has a different attachment, so each gun has 2 different attachments, and each attachment is something's weakness, so you not only have to switch between all your weapons, you have to switch between all your attachments. It's very good. I love it. It is very satisfying. I wish there was more story, so I would, because now to go back, I'm just gonna replay the story again, but it is worth it. I'm gonna give the DLC a 5 out of 5. You can buy both of them right now for about $30. They're not on Game Pass, but Doom Eternal is, if you haven't played it yet. If you're looking for something to play, bump that up. It's one of the best just video game experiences, gameplay wise, and man, it is so fun, and it is intense and fantastic. Definitely check it out.
You're fantastic.
Thank you.
I haven't played a Doom game in a while. I remember it being when it was on computer back in the day. It was a game that gave me motion sickness, so I never got that much into Doom in general. What I was curious about from what you said is the lore from this game self-contained within this Doom game. Are they associating lore from other Doom games? That's kind of a curiosity.
They, without any spoilers, they basically make it canon that it's the same guy throughout the entire Doom series, and then in Doom Eternal they explain why and how it's the same guy, but basically it's like time travel and he's given powers is basically the answer, but it's satisfying. It's very satisfying.
Are we based on The Rock, or was it Carl Urban maybe?
Not canon.
Look at me in my memory. I just remember like being a stoned whatever age we were in the theaters and watching that first person sequence when he's in first person view and gunning down all the monsters. That was like the coolest thing in the movie.
Speaking of being stoned, that actually, I wanted to say this earlier and you just reminded me, but I feel like it's a good story. When we were talking about the movie Legend that none of us have seen, in high school, me and my friends, like back when we didn't have cell phones, or we had to call the house phone. My friends would call the house phone, so in case my parents were listening, be like, "Hey, you want to go play Legend?" And that was what our code word was.
I literally almost brought up the same story when Legend got brought up. I was like, "Oh, I know that word. It's probably not what you're talking about, though."
Yeah, that's what we called it. Oh, hey mom, I gotta go over to my friend's house. We're gonna play Legend. Oh, okay, have fun. Have fun.
Is that one on the Xbox?
Sure. Had to throw that in there. Hummer, did you play Doom Eternal? You have it downloaded but never played it?
I played like 10 minutes of it. It was challenging to get through it. It's actually on 2 platforms, and basically I forgot how to log into my EA account on my PC. So, yeah, that happened.
Weak. Are you gonna play it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Damn.
I've still been playing a lot of Avengers. I've been playing Apex, and then I've also been playing the Star Wars Squadron.
Why?
I like it. I like it.
You like flight simulators?
I do. Yeah, and so far I thought the story was pretty cool, and I think the multiplayer, I happen to be pretty decent at it.
Brad's just shaking his head.
Is what it is.
Just shake your head, Brad. You're not going to say anything?
Hummer's camera angle has thrown me off so much.
Me
yeah,
too.
I can't do anything about it. Not yet, at least.
I love
Just
it.
like looking at the top of his head most of the time.
What? He's got great hair. What's wrong with that? Hummer and I are part of an elite club, of great men's hair club that we've been sworn to secrecy and aren't supposed to talk about.
I'm okay with my hair. I got all right hair. It's still there. It's been hanging around for a while. It's full. It grows long. It grows lengthy. I just don't take good care of it.
Well, anyway, definitely check out the DLC for Doom Eternal if you haven't checked it out yet. You do have to pay for it, but it is absolutely worth it. It's not very long, though, so probably give you another 10 to 12 hours with both of them, but it's very fun. All right, Bradley, I've been trying to get you to go to the movies with me for like 2 weeks, and you didn't do it, and you watched the movie at home, and I still haven't watched it yet because I wanted to go to the movies with you. But why don't you go ahead and tell us about Army of Darkness?
We're on like opposite schedules, man. It's tough to coordinate. By the time I'm out of work on a night that you could go, the movie theaters are closed. They're not open to midnight, 1 o'clock like they used to be. What's this world coming to? Thanks, Joe Biden.
It's pronounced Joe Biden.
Thanks, Sleepy Joe.
It's actually pronounced ya boy Joe Biden.
It's past Joe Biden's bedtime, so movie theaters gotta close. Thanks, Obama.
Don't make fun of Sleepy Joe.
Does Joe Biden say water?
He's from Delaware, so
Yeah,
he would not say water. Water is specifically a Philly John thing. I don't know where the accent comes from, but like, so Philly has some weird words. Really, mainly it's the water thing. I don't really hear them say like I've never heard actually any Philadelphians say daughter in that way. They'll say like dog. They also pronounce, I think, the word day and thray weird. But other than that, I think that the New York and the Boston accents deserve to get more shit than the Philly one, because Philly's pretty normal.
Well, that's because nobody likes them and they don't care.
Nobody likes us and we don't fucking care.
You can't say that anymore.
Why not? Oh yeah, it's true. Don't live there. Still rooting for the Sixers. Still rooting for the Sixers.
So the movie I watched, Army of the Dead, was a new Netflix release that they also released in theaters, but I believe it's a Netflix original, if I remember correctly, starring Dave Bautista and a slew of others that you may or may not recognize. I did not recognize most of them. One of the best acting performers, I thought, was somebody who didn't get nearly enough screen time. He played the Shades in the Luke Cage series. He was awesome in that, I thought. And he was in this movie as well, and he just didn't get enough screen time for the excellent character work he had done. So this movie was kind of a heist movie combined with a zombie apocalypse movie. It's a Zack Snyder direct job, so expect to get lots of Zack Snyder-isms, like weird music choices. Mostly weird music choices.
No.
So, some that you'll mostly say, I see why you chose this song. It's kind of obvious. But also, why did you choose this song? It's unnecessary. Thank you, Zack Snyder. I think the first part of this movie was kind of ruined by Rick and Morty, because they've inceptioned me into thinking that the team building part of heist movies is like ruins heist movies, and the first 45 minutes is exactly that, where they do like a small scene to introduce you to a character but give you no real exposition or character build, or the character doesn't have any time to build throughout the rest of the movie. But you're going to get that one team-up scene where they're like, I'm in. It's just, my name's Glar now. That's the first 45 minutes of the movie, except with zombies. And then, so the B story, is this heist that they're pulling off, which ends up becoming the C story quickly at some point during a twist that I won't tell you about. The A story tends to play out a little bit more like a zombie video game plot than more than a movie plot, in my opinion, because you come to find out that there's basically, since neither of you seen it, I don't want to ruin too much, but there's a little bit of interpretation that goes on with some expositionary dialogue in the very beginning, right before the alpha zombie is released. So I have some thoughts on it that I think they went a certain way with it, because there are alpha zombies in the Las Vegas area. It's kind of one of the big things. And one of them including one of Siegfried and Roy's tigers as a zombie, which was like most of their CGI budget, I guess.
What is an alpha zombie?
So they describe it as zombies that aren't like mindless and thoughtless. They have like a civilization to them, basically. And they basically, like the ones in the video games that are a little bit faster. They look like they think and react a little bit. They follow commands and take direction. They're not just like the mindless dregs of zombies. So a lot of these are focused in this. And basically one of the plot points is that if one of the alpha zombie bites you, you turn into an alpha zombie rather than one of the mindless dregs. And I don't want to ruin the story because that's the real A plot of the movie, is what's going on involving that and that society. So I don't want to spoil anything. But I was really off put of this movie when the heist buildup was happening for exactly the reason I was told you. Rick and Morty ruined it. They ruined the team building part of heist movies and have made me thought, yeah, this is shit. This is absolute garbage when I'm watching right now. This doesn't make up for character exposition and like wanting just look at this guy. He's got a gimmick. Throw him in. We need him to do this one thing. This guy can crack safes. We're going to need him. And he's a weird German guy that's never killed a zombie before. We're going to need him. Oh, black guy with a chainsaw? We need him. Like, that was the entire first 45 minutes. And I was very checked out. And it was full of really bad acting and just nothing you're going to care about. Then the A story kind of kicks in and things get a little brutal. And you see some, like, humans turning on each other and stuff like that. Some betrayal, some little plot twists. The acting was still pretty garbage, but the action got pretty awesome, as you could expect from a Zack Snyder. And the plot got pretty cool, but wasn't really fleshed out well. And I just think, like, this is a prime example of what long-form TV has and series have over movies with plot development right now because of how much more story they can tell you. And I think that's where movies will fall behind, because a Zack Snyder film, you would expect it to be long now, but an hour 45 in and you feel, and the movie's not even half done, like that's that first moment you're going to go, ugh, I still have another hour to go in this movie. Whereas with a series, they can tell you a 10, 12, 24-hour story over 10 one-hour episodes or 24 one-hour episodes, and you never feel that. And they can tell you so much more. So with all that thought, I think the movie is definitely worth seeing if you're into the action, zombie flick kind of stuff. I'm going to give it a 4 because I think it was really well done, and it's got high budget. It's got a lot going for it, and it's really entertaining, but you're only going to watch it once. You're never going to watch it again. Any questions?
It's not in season. You already established that.
I watched that SNL skit the other day, so it's fresh in my brain.
Super fresh.
So is there like is this like a standalone movie, or does this take place in a bigger zombie universe?
There's a cliffhanger at the end that could lead into more, but this was a very self-contained story.
Because for some reason in my head, that when you add "of the dead," it's taking place like along the same like universe as all the other "of the dead" movies.
Well, no, because this involves an initial outbreak in Vegas, and it's very self-contained. And like I said, one of the plot points, at least the way I interpreted it from the very beginning, when they're right before the outbreak happens, is kind of specific to its own story. So I would bottle it in. It takes place in Las Vegas. They have to like quarantine Las Vegas when the outbreak happens. It's the first of an outbreak, and it's because of one single thing. I don't want to say too much, but yeah. So I would say it's not on the other of the dead universes.
I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna watch it this weekend. Brad just always has bangers, man. So I just, whatever Brad says, I try and watch it.
How is Dave Bautista?
Not great. I think I don't know what to put it on because I really enjoy his performance in the Guardians movies as Drax and as that character. I think he really does really well. I don't know if it's fully on like James Gunn really like fleshing out a character and him really nailing it, and it's just like him being a real person, trying to be a real person, just kind of falls flat. He doesn't. It's not like they give him big one-line moments like he gets with Drax either. His action sequences are all really well done. Like he's really got that stuff going on. There were a couple of like kind of unbelievable moments, like when he flipped up a poker table and like threw it like you could only imagine Drax strength, or when he was running across poker tables. And I don't know if you've ever been in a casino, but those things will fall right over if you try to run across them. I don't think that would work. So there were just little things, but like overall, like he was entertaining in a sense, but when it came to, acting sequences with other cast members, he was very flat. So was everybody.
I do. Well, yeah. Didn't one of the characters? I don't know if they're a main character or not. Got like I don't know. They said something or got. They did something bad or they did something problematic, and they got replaced. And Tig Notaro, they like digitally added her in over that person in every scene.
I don't know anything about that, but sure.
Yeah. So all of her scenes were added in after the fact.
I don't even know who that is.
Well, I know her as like a stand-up comic, but she's been in a lot of things. She's the bartender in the episode of Community when Annie is from Corpus Christi.
Oh, yeah. She's the mechanic and pilot. Yeah, most of the scenes she was in by herself anyway, so that makes sense. Who did she replace?
I don't know. I remember I looked into it a little bit, but I forgot. Yeah, the person. Oh. I think they made some problematic comments or they did something bad. I don't remember exactly. I just was interested to see how they would handle that character being digitally added in. Didn't even notice. Okay, so that says a lot that you didn't notice. But like I said, she was only in maybe like two or three moments with other actors, and they were mostly just complaining about how much she talked. That's all I remember. There was not a single performance that I would call memorable. Damn. I do agree with what you said that James Gunn does a lot for Bautista or Dave Bautista, because the first Guardians of the Galaxy, his character is funny, but is a very like endearing character, developed character. Obviously he wants revenge for the death of his family, and he's a serious character that just what he says is funny. But in the second one, they really just turn him into a comedic relief, and any of his scenes in like Infinity War and Endgame are all just jokes. He hasn't really done a lot since that first Guardians movie, other than he's a very good villain in Spectre, but he has no lines in that movie. He's just a force of intimidation that he does well, but again, he doesn't talk. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see if other directors and scripts can bring more out of Bautista, but I definitely think we've probably seen the best of him with Drax, and I know he already announced that the Guardians 3 will be the last time he plays that character. But we'll see. I don't dislike Dave Bautista in any sense. I've enjoyed him in things. And he seems like a nice guy. So, what more can you ask to be? A nice guy. Marcus Phoenix. That's what he can ask to be. Yeah. I want to see him play Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War. That would be awesome. He's kind of campaigned for that a little, if I remember right. Hard. He's even a playable character in Gears 5. Nice. All right, Hummer. I got actually a tearful text from Hummer telling me how moved he was about the Friends reunion, and he was begging to share his thoughts. So I thought we'd set some time aside for Hummer to talk about the Friends reunion. At first, I was like, "Are you joking?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah, I actually do remember a text of him saying he was crying." Of him just admitting moving. His tears to us. Just admission of tears.
I say, get the tissues ready. Friends reunion actually elicited a couple different emotions. Yes, a roller coaster, I guess you could say. So it was happiness, it was anger, and then it was sadness, and with a little bit of like tears of joy,
and some surprise too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out there and say, if you haven't watched it by now, like if you're a fan of Friends, you should definitely watch it. What irritates me about it though is that there is like no need. They put so much fluff into it with like Lady Gaga and coming in with like having Justin Bieber do something on stage, and then having like
yeah, that made no sense.
David Beckham giving his like thoughts on the show. I'm like, we don't need any of that. Like, we didn't need any of that to make the show good or entertaining. I feel like the producers of it must have been worried that they didn't have enough content, so they had to put some filler stuff in there. Like the best part of that show was when let's put those guys in a room and let them tell their stories. Let them tell the stories of taping the show. Tell like the fun times that they had, the sad times that they had. I really enjoyed when they went through and they were talking about how each character was cast for the role. That David Schwimmer, like they wrote Ross with the idea that he was going to be, Ross. And then you have like Courtney Cox being like they wanted her to play Rachel, and she's like, no, I'm a Monica. And, she was really adamant about that. And so, like, I thought that stuff was cool. I thought it had a lot that it could stand on, its own legs. And it just really irritated me when they were just rolling out the celebrities. Like, no one watched that show for Lady Gaga. No one watched it for her. No one gave two shits if she was on that reunion. Like, it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, I agree that it wasn't necessary. I think it would have been a little better if she was the segue into people around the world talking about how the show impacted their life, or like a dark time in their life. They had Friends to watch and it got them through that. I think that would have been placed better beforehand, because she's like talking to Lisa Kudrow, and she's like, thanks for playing the weird character for, representation for us weird people. I think it would have been a better segue that way, but yeah, it didn't really add that much.
At its best, it was a Friends documentary. At its worst, it was a reality show reunion. And it was my biggest fear going into it that we were going to see too much reality show reunion style of this show. We knew you were going to see it because James Corden had to host a segment for some god-awful reason.
Boo.
The scene with Lady Gaga, like, Lisa Kudrow, like, looked so overwhelmed when that happened. It was, and, like, so, like, fuck you on her face when they were just, like, stealing her moment to sing Smelly Cat. And I was like, this is so fucked up. Up until the point where she was like, well, I think it was better by myself. And I was like, yeah, you fucking tell them. Like, fuck all of this noise that they brought all this in to bombard you. Like, we just wanted to see her play Smelly Cat. That's all we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they had to Hollywood that up. And then you talked about the fashion show, which was hot garbage. Literally just a collage reel of some outfits would have been fine. Or showing any of the SNL skits where they played Rachel and had like made fun of the Rachel haircut and stuff. Like, all that stuff was terrible. The appearances we wanted to see were by, cast members that were like one-time episode characters that went on to become celebrities, or already were celebrities. We wanted to see more of those. Like when Ross and Monica's parents, the actors that played their parents, were on, I was like, that was a moment you were like, oh, no way. Those were the full-on good moments. Or when, when Gunther came on as on a Zoom call, like, so those moments were great.
He brought nothing to the show in a Zoom call. It was hysterical. Oh, like classic Gunther.
It was just like he did with the show. Just like in the show, he had one little thing that didn't do anything. He had a Zoom call that was literally just him going, "Hey
guys,
hi guys, I'm alive.
On the show.
I'm alive. Thanks for having me. All right, cool. Thanks, Gunnar.
I'm still not with Rachel."
But really, the show at its best parts were putting them all in a room together in the rebuilt set, and just listening to them talk about, like, the fact that each one of them walked into Monica's apartment and said, "Oh, they put the beam back in." At that moment, I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." There was a beam that was there before they started filming it all. They took it out and reshot everything. We don't know anything about the beam, but they're like, "Oh, look at this beam. It's crazy. They put the beam back in. They remembered about the beam." Like, that was the stuff that we all tuned in for. That stuff was amazing. We could have watched 3 hours of that.
Yeah, that's what we wanted, and I felt like you hit it right on the nail on the head there by saying, like, it was part documentary, part reality TV show, and it's like, okay, you know what? You could make a Friends documentary without the Friends in it, and then have all the people in the world telling their sad sob stories about why Friends impacted their lives. Like, okay, great, I get it. I'd probably watch that too. But it's not what I came for the reunion for. All I came for is you got 6 people in a room for the first time. They said, since the last, 20 years, and this is what you did with it. Like, you wasted a good portion of it by doing that awful, like you mentioned, the awful fashion show. I think the one thing that I did enjoy that they did that was a little reality TV-ish. I love them doing like a retake of the quiz, the couch on the quiz with Ross, lightning round or whatever it was. I thought that was cool.
That was a great way to bring in other cast members too. Like, they did a really good job with that. I could have watched more of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. They only did a couple of questions of it.
And the table reads were really fun too. I could have watched more of the table read.
Yeah, those were awesome. That's what I say. They had so much stuff there that was like, this is gold. And I don't know where maybe they came in with the idea this is what we're going to do, or maybe they thought that, oh, well, we only have so much film and it's not good. I'm like, there has to be more gold in that treasure trove of all the film that they created to make that show. Like, give me the outtakes for it, for crying out loud. You could have given me, there had to have been outtakes for it. Give me an hour of outtakes of these guys just going in the room busting laughing because they can't keep a straight face for 15 minutes.
It was good to see, like, it wasn't really a blooper, but when Joey hurt himself, like, the stuff that we didn't already know about. But you're right, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see them telling the behind-the-scenes stories and talking about stuff that, we didn't know about.
Just like little moments when Joey and Chandler were back in the chairs and everyone else realized it, and they were all like, "Look, they're in their chairs." Like, those were the moments you were like, "Oh, they're so freaking adorable. Why is this happening to me?" Like, we just wanted all of that, and we didn't get nearly enough of it.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys listen to the podcast, the Office Ladies?
Yeah, I have. I'm not up to date.
I'm not up to date either, because it's one of those things you can pick it up just like the actual show, The Office. But like, that's kind of where I was hoping that we would get, was just, a good 2 hours of just behind the scenes. Tell us your favorite memories and stories and laughing, and that's what I thought we were gonna get. And so overall, like, you got to watch it if you're an episode of Friends, but if you've watched Friends here and there, I think it's honestly something that you might just be like, meh, I think it's a solid 3.
I was surprised it was an hour and 45 minutes.
I'll tell you what there was a moment that I thought was really, really great and interesting.
Was it Justin Bieber?
No. When Matthew Perry was talking about how much he needed to get laughs, and how, like on set he would break into things when he heard other people getting laughs, and like how detrimental that was to him as a person and a performer. And they, in that moment, like, they were all like, none of us knew that. And like, just little snippets of moments like that were like so special to have in the reunion, I thought. And that one especially was one that stuck with me. But like, there was some stuff that I know that Joey said, and that like them talking about Ross and Rachel's off-screen stuff, and them what felt like one of the first times really admitting to everybody that they were super into each other, but never made it happen, and that was one of the reasons on screen it worked so well. Like, just stuff like that was what we came for, and we did get some of that, which makes the reunion still worth watching.
Exactly. I think that's right. That's why I gave it a 3. It's still worth watching, but it could have been better.
I would have really liked to see a slide, even just like a slideshow of all the celebrities or all the people that started off on the show that have become celebrities. Because they did touch on it a little bit with like Ben Stiller, and then they mentioned Brad Pitt.
Tom Lennon.
Yeah, he's not really huge, but he just
I
done a lot
know
of
who
stuff.
he is.
Well, didn't they bring? I thought Ben Stiller. By the time they brought him onto the show, he was already a star. And same with Brad. Brad Pitt was already a star, because those were guys that they brought on when the audience goes woo.
Okay, good point. But Reese Witherspoon wasn't.
Right,
but there's been so many. There's been so many people that have just like did like a one line on that show or something that have blown up.
More from Law and Order.
I also didn't know that Ursula came from Mad About You. I didn't realize that was the same character.
Oh,
makes so much sense now.
Didn't know that? Yeah. You had to have watched. We were probably too young for Mad About You, really.
Yeah, that's what it was.
There was a lot of stories, and maybe just because they were already told. Like I know there's one that I've heard. I think it was it's Matthew Perry, I think, who tells the story that after they recorded like the pilot episode, that they all took a trip out with like the producers to Vegas, and they just had like this feeling that the show was going to be big, and they said, this is the last, like, enjoy this moment. This will be the last time that you guys are like anonymous, that you will be household names after but next time you guys all do this, but it was a good show.
So going back real quick to what Brad said about being too young for Mad About You, we were probably too young for Friends too. It's like going back and watching Friends as an adult, like there's so many jokes that I don't know how I enjoyed watching the show when I was younger, because it's nothing but sex jokes basically, and it's like rewatching it as an adult, it like hits all over again because now I can appreciate all the jokes. But something that the creators of the show said that really like struck home for me was the show is about that time in your life when your friends are your family, and I guess that hit me like a little bit hard because I just am realizing like I'm just coming out of that phase of my life, or now everything used to be my friends were my family and they're like the most important people, and then now now I have my own family, and it's just crazy and weird to think about. That's how the show ended, and that's why the show ended. And as like in that phase of my life, I was like, wow, it made me appreciate those years,
Yeah, no, I totally get that. It's also crazy to go rewatch shows like this because of watching how technology changed throughout our lives. In the first couple episodes, they have to call different places that they think they might be in order to find each other because they don't have cell phones. They just expect people to be at certain places. So they would like call Monica's apartment and be like, hey, is Ross there? He's not at his place, so he must be there. It was such a weird thing to watch. That's one of the reasons I liked watching The Office too, because at the beginning of The Office, technology is still so different, and then you had like the iPod twist change happen throughout the early seasons of The Office, and this crazy technology boom all throughout texting, and they had Blackberries at one point. So long-running sitcoms are crazy for that reason, just the experience of technology over the years.
One thing I think it's one of those comedies, because you guys mentioned earlier, comedies don't have staying power, but this one does. I think it's because as you get older, like Sauce, how you pointed out, it's a show about the time of your life when your friends are your family, and that really happens in your 20s, and then you watch the friends go from the early 20s, they're 22, 23, all the way up to when Rachel's turning 30, and those are all feelings that regardless of how technology is in your life, you still have or went through that period of time. And the technology didn't change how you feel about these things. It doesn't change really what you were doing with your friends, at that time, except maybe talking to each other more because we were all on our phone. But I mean, that's why I think the show is so good. I think that's why it was so powerful. And at the end, like the way they ended the show, even the way they ended the documentary, I thought it was great how they point out they ended the show on their own terms. There's they didn't really leave it up to too much ambiguity. What happens. So overall, I thought it was good. I think my only criticism is I seriously did not need Lady Gaga or Justin Bieber. I didn't need any of that.
I love the idea that Joey runs a sandwich shop on Venice Beach now.
I do like that. What did he do though? Like they had a show about Joey after Friends. Like what did he do? Did he run a sandwich shop?
When they asked him that question, I was like, they literally continued Joey's story and only Joey's story by having him go to L.A. and be a decently successful actor. And then they might have even further continued his story by sending him to England in the show Episodes. It's an unconfirmed connection.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. The whole time I was thinking, when are we going to get the Office reunion?
It's happening, man. It's a podcast.
Yeah, it just might not happen in the format you want. I don't think Steve Carell will ever really come back to it.
Probably not. But the Friends did do the right thing, I think, in not doing a reunion episode because there's no way it would have lived up to expectations or been good. And this was the way to go, even though it wasn't executed the best.
Did you see someone on, I think it was Reddit, posted a picture from like a People magazine of like, where will the Friends stars be in 20 years? And it's just like a badly photoshopped picture of all of them look like they're mumps. And their just necks are just like, and they've been aged. And it was supposed to be like this year. It was like 2021.
I didn't see that. I gotta find it.
Oh, man. It's hilarious.
Matthew Perry was the only one that was like kind of spot on.
Well, there was some stuff early on about like people were like over-examining his like slurred speech and mannerisms and stuff like that. Some really over-examinations, but I mean, we all know Matthew Perry's had some troubles. He
flat out said he doesn't remember he doesn't remember filming one like in a complete. I forget what season it is. It's season 4 or 5, 6, something like that. He does not remember filming a single episode in one of the seasons.
Yeah, that's bad.
Lisa called him out.
Album.
Lisa Kudrow called him out during the show about alcohol and drug usage. Like she was ruthless.
I don't remember that part.
There's they're always sitting on a couch. It was one of the scenes. I forget what they were. It was they were all sitting on the stage, kind of in like that panel, and they were bringing people out to do like a little quick hitter interview or whatever. And I forget who they brought out, and they basically she just went nuts on him. It was like a one liner, and you can just tell he goes fair. Like I'll shut up.
Well, yeah. I did want to tell you guys what my kids thought about the movies that you had recommended.
It's the moment.
But
how many times have you watched Ferngully?
We are out of time,
no,
so I'll have to save it for next week.
No, we're not.
We are definitely out of time.
How often? How many times have you watched Ferngully and the cats dancing movie?
You know what? I'm trying to buy myself a little bit more time because we watched Cats Don't Dance, and I can give you my feelings on that. But every time I try to get them to watch Ferngully, they don't want to, so they haven't watched it yet.
You should have made them watch. You should be like, look, it's late for Earth Day. It's an Earth Day movie.
Yeah, I'll just have to make some shit up. So I can't get them to watch the one, and they did not enjoy it in any way. Nor did I. Cats Don't Dance.
So we are just terrible at
Scott
picking up
Bakula's
movies.
American Treasure.
Apparently. That movie seems like it was a dated movie when it came out in the 90s. Like, the jokes in the movie are not relevant in the 90s.
Those music numbers are a treasure, bro. They're a treat. Nothing's going to stop us now.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make them watch Ferngully, and then I'm going to sit them down, and I'm going to see which one they like better.
You will watch this, and you will tell me which one you liked better, or you are grounded.
I just got to bribe them with some ice cream.
Just tell them they each get a slice of Papa John's pizza.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm not a terrible father. Why would I do that?
Your family, except for you, loves Papa John's pizza.
My wife loves Papa John's pizza, and she's very wrong.
Super wrong.
It's literally cardboard.
She could be having delicious campus poly eyes, and she goes for Papa John's.
Disgusting.
The feet of pizza.
It's the Pennsylvanian people of pizza.
It's
The Wooder Dooder.
it's the water dude.
I will
Pizza.
say Philadelphia pizza is the worst pizza in America.
And you just moved to where some of the best pizza is.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm coming. Now I'm gonna visit Hummer.
There are gonna
Yeah.
be turtles coming out of the sewers to eat all the pizza. I know. I lived there once. That's what happened.
In the sewers.
We've seen the
That's
turtles.
where I lived.
We've seen the giant rats.
The rent was crazy.
Yes, the rent is pretty crazy.
No, for the sewers.
Yeah, even not. in the
$1,200 a
sewers.
month? Thank you.
What part of New York do you live in?
Me?
No, Hummer.
I'm living in Brooklyn, a neighborhood called Prospect Lefferts Garden.
And what's your address for all our listeners out there?
And social security number and routing number on your checking account.
Yeah, I need that one.
No.
Well, that's
And
all we got
fishing
time for you guys this week. Thanks for sticking around. If you like this episode, leave us a review on the app that you're listening to. You can head to timesyncpod.com for more information and come chat with us there. Links to all of our social medias. And we'll see you guys next week.
And how many stickers are on your Subway Premier card? Is it 6?